Time to quiet. Walking around coughing, huh? Alright. Switch scenes. Make sure everything's working. Hello, folks. Yes, everything's working, except I'm blue again. I guess it's coming off the screen. Taking off the rings. Need somewhere to put them. Pocket. Sorry it took so long to start. I gotta work on this setup with bots or get some mods to do all the sharing to other streams. I set up a bot, pardon me, that will let post in my Discord when I start, like my Egg Willow apron. One of my favorite shows. Go listen to the podcast. Um, but it doesn't share to all the other channels that I have access to share my stuff in, and I wanted to promote, so I put up a starting soon and ran in the other room. I should have added music. I'll figure all that out. Yeah, pro streamer. Um, so, what else am I gonna need? I think I'm good to get going here. Um, but anyway, I went in. Oh, I have an ad break going. That's not supposed to start right at the beginning. Oh well. But, for people that are watching it later, I went in to throw up that I was going live in a bunch of other Discords or friends, and Chef John Leung was on, and ending his show, and he was looking at food pictures from his Discord, and he came across my bacon, like my home cured from scratch bacon, and just kind of lost it. I did save a clip. I'll post somewhere later, probably in my Discord. Um, oh, and he's like, I think I found the perfect bacon. And if y'all have tried my bacon, you may or may not agree, but I've worked at it, and it's pretty freaking good. So I ended up watching a little of that because, everyone enjoys a little props now and again. There's where you can join my Discord. Hopefully the rest of Nightbot does the rest of the automated things I have set up, but I'll mention them along the way. So today, I decided to make soup. It's soup season. It's been raining here all week, finally getting chilly, and I have a great soup recipe, and I had everything in the house to make it. Everything? Yeah, pretty much. So how do I want to start? I guess I should start heating up my pan. You love this? Spiders. I got this little Dutch oven. It's not huge. I don't know how many quarts it is. Does it say? It's a Smith Clark Ironworks. It's a 2.8 liter Dutch oven, so it's cast iron that has been porcelain coated. This is my first time cooking with my hot plate that I got to do streaming with. So I'm turning that on. I know it takes a while to heat up. These burners are also cast iron, which takes a while to heat up, but also keeps its heat. Yeah. I'll start prepping my veg. This is a butternut squash soup, and it's not savory like a lot of the ones you see out there. Well, it's savory. I shouldn't say that. It's not as savory. It's not. Okay, most of them you see out there, they go with, a cumin thing or a curry thing or a ton of sage. This one has coconut milk and ginger and garlic. Many years ago, HSN, they still partner with Wolfgang Puck, I think, but I don't watch HSN anymore. They had a cooking contest, a recipe contest, and you had to use a Wolfgang Puck, product. And I did have, I think my mom bought it for me. This thing is so worn out, you can't see any of the labeling on it anymore. But it's an immersion blender. It had a few attachments. I need to get a new one. The other attachment was a whisk, and it's broken. But I had this immersion blender, and You don't need an immersion blender to make this soup. You can totally just blend it up in a blender. You could leave it chunky if you wanted. But it was an excuse to make up a recipe and enter this contest. And the recipe that used to be online, also besides carrots, and you don't need the carrots, you can do this just with butternut squash. Um, I am adding carrots to kind of brighten it a little, I guess. Um, get my scraper. This is my scraper that I etched. Can you see? Oh, this is Amber's kitchen. Um, but that recipe originally it had. I used light coconut milk. I used skim milk. I don't use any milk in it on the regular. Um, and carrots and spaghetti squash and kind of it fillers, but it made it more something I would want to be using the immersion blender for. I also originally, when I first started making this, when I put the published recipe for the contest, I peeled and cubed my butternut and roasted it before I started. I never do that anymore. Let me tell you what. Here's what I do if you're doing butternut squash. Cut it in half, long ways, and take the seeds out and put it face down in a baking dish. I sprayed it with some cooking spray, and I put just a little bit of water in it, and it comes out beautifully roasted. And then you can just scoop it out and make your soup or mash it, and it gets a lot more flavor from roasting the same way the cubed method did. Don't boil it, please don't. That's a terrible thing to do to butternut squash. And I'll give you some other pro tips about that. But the first thing I'm going to do is get these carrots in and started, because these are going to saute. Ooh, it heated up nicely. I'm going to actually turn it down a little. And we want these small because they have to cook when the squash is already cooked and everything else doesn't take all that long. My knife skills are lacking today. Put a little oil, olive oil in here. You could put butter, but I wouldn't do this part with butter because of you're going to be, it'll scorch maybe. Not worth it. If you want to use it later to add some richness, I actually omitted all milk and butter for this before. I've done a vegan version when I had company that was vegan coming over a long time ago. I think that's when I first developed the recipe, actually, when I first invented it. But I tweaked it for this contest. And actually, I'm only going to use the one carrot because it's a big one. I hear it sizzling. So this contest, onion next. Again, it was sponsored by Home Shopping Network, Wolfgang Puck, and Gourmet Magazine. So it was the most exciting thing winning this contest because it wasn't pardon me, I didn't win. I didn't win the top prize, and I'll explain how that happened. So I just chopped this onion. You don't have to be too careful about your cuts, as might be obvious with the carrot. I wanted that small, but I'm going to use the immersion blender later. The first part of the contest was actually a panel, like Wolfgang Puck and other people from, I'm going to only use about half of this. And they made the recipe as I sent it to them, and they taste tested it, and they called me up. And it was really it was so cute. The lady who actually was her job to call me was like, I gotta tell you, I just tried your soup, and it was amazing. I'm so glad they let me try it. And everybody was raving about it and how good it was. And I mean, I was thrilled. It was amazing. And I won a prize for that round. They sent me a big copy of a Gourmet Magazine cookbook. They sent me a Wolfgang Puck cookbook. They sent me a big bag. It says Gourmet embroidered on it from Gourmet Magazine, and a corkscrew, and just a bunch of swag. And I was really proud because the next round was, a popularity contest. The next part was simply they posted all the recipes online and people voted. So it was a lot of, I'm definitely turning that down. This heats up really nicely. I'm so happy with this. Getting your friends to vote for you, right? All right. Well, I guess I wasn't just popular enough. I'm going to use 2 cloves of garlic. These are a pretty good size. And like I said, that's not a big pot, but I do like it garlicky. I'm going to mince these decently by first smashing them. And then you can just pop the peels off. Boop. Hey, Hando. Oh, hi. I got a Dunaway, oh, hi. I very seldom use a garlic press, even for something where I want it small. I'm not big into unitaskers. I own one. I finally gave it and bought one maybe a year ago, but I don't like it very much. And again, I'm going to be using the immersion blender later. And if I have it in bigger chunks now, in the saute and then cook phase, it'll get a little roasty sweetness to it. I do want to cut it enough to get a little heat out of it. So the next part was a popularity contest. And I did not win that part. I think it was in the top 4. They only, I think, posted 4. And I did not win. But I had already won a prize, and I felt like, you know what? I won the better part. I won the actual curated, people tasted it part, including Wolfgang Puck. And yeah, so I have an award-winning soup. Used to be able to get the recipe. I'll post it on my Discord. Used to be able to get it online. I had it posted at Spark Recipes. I don't know if you ever heard of Spark Recipes. There was a site called Spark People. And I loved that site for putting my recipes up because they would... you put in your ingredients, and when the recipe would come out the other end, it would spit out the nutritional values of everything, which was terrific. And that's what Spark People was for. It was kind of a weight maintenance and watching type site where people could collaborate. So can we see this? Yes, we can see this. So it's coming along nicely. I'm doing sure we don't want anything brown or scorching. Just wait until the flavors have come out of the onions. They're translucent. And the garlic. I can smell the garlic. Again, we don't want to scorch it. And I'm going to put... Alright. I'm going to put some ginger in here. So, ginger... I'm using ginger in a tube. Yes, fresh ginger is amazing. Fresh ginger is bestest. I know I wouldn't even normally measure, but I'm going to go ahead and say it's around 2 tablespoons for this much. I like to put a lot of ginger in this, and for fresh ginger, pro tip, just put it in the freezer because you can grate it straight from there. Just scrape the skin off and then you can grate it. But this stuff in a tube is just such a time saver. You're not messing with the strings because it can be tricky with ginger. Oh, it smells so good. To grate it so that you don't have just a lot of waste or you don't end up with stringy stuff. And I make a Thai cucumber salad with ginger, and I use the tube for that. This isn't my favorite brand of tube. I like the bigger brand. This is Aldi stuff, but for a soup, it's definitely passable. Powdered ginger is kind of only good for baking. I do have it sitting here because if at the end I don't feel there was enough ginger, um, you can add a little, but then give it time to rehydrate. But for the most part, unless you're baking, you want to go with fresh ginger. Hey, this is an easy soup. This is going to go faster than maybe we want the stream to go. And I'm going to add, I know the recipe says 14 ounces, but that I think is like about twice what I'm going to make. Well, no, this is 32 ounces. So, yeah, I put about the 14, 15 ounces in of vegetable stock. Now we'll bring this back up to a simmer. And we're just going to cook that long enough so that the carrots will be softer and ready to blend into the soup. I'm not forgetting anything because I'm not going to put the coconut milk in for a little bit or the squash, but I'll prep the squash. Which side is bigger? I think this side is bigger. Okay. Alright, so I already talked about butternut squash. Roasted, lovely butternut squash. I should probably set some salt at some point. After you have it and you want to get the seeds out, and or when you need to scoop out the flesh from the skin here, these tools work great. So this is an ice cream scoop. Pardon me. And it's terrific for this use. Or if you have a measuring spoon that's just kind of a plain metal one, it's really great for this kind of thing because it pulls it right away. I'll go ahead and put this on my cutting board fairly precisely without having to do something crazy like a melon baller or peel it after it's all softened like this. Makes short work of it. And I might do the whole squash instead of just the half. And that's, a preference. What's your favorite squash? Mine is definitely butternut. I'm thinking about doing a breakfast foods stream because I've got a pork belly I need to start the cure on, which takes like a week. But I can show how to make your, at least the beginning part, make your homemade bacon. Because all you do after that is you smoke it a couple hours. And turn it every day. But I figured the thing I will cook to take, more time. Because I'm figuring an hour is a nice friendly way at time to be doing this kind of thing. So look at that. Flesh doesn't have bits of skin in it. Got it right down to the veiny bits. And that goes in the compost. It might be enough. Let me think about the recipe. Oh, so the original recipe is 5 cups of butternut squash, and that's obviously like half. But also is 2 cups of spaghetti squash, 2 cups of carrots, 3 cloves of garlic, 3/4 cup of light coconut milk, 14 ounces of vegetable stock, half a cup of skim milk, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. But again, that's just like the published recipe version. But I make this on the regular. Oh, and it's good hot or cold, which I love. It's also very flexible. Regardless of what recipe I put in, I'll always make a note of that. You can add, spaghetti squash like I did the other one if you're using an immersion blender. If you're not using an immersion blender or a blender, You can use a regular blender. Just if you're ever blending something hot, be careful. Don't just put the lid on tight. Like maybe take out the centerpiece and use something like a towel so you've got some flow because heat makes things expand. And if you try to close up your blender and blend something hot, it's going to go all over the place. Oh, hi. What's up, Cinder? The cat is like, she's talking to herself. Um, yeah, I think half the squash is going to be good for all the stuff I'm not adding. But you could add pumpkin, regular pumpkin or canned pumpkin. I mean, raw. You would saute it like the carrots at the beginning in chunks, or you could roast it and scoop some in, or you can use it out of a can. If I were to use pumpkin in this, I would go ahead and garnish it with something like pepitas, which are roasted pumpkin seeds. And that's like a beautiful garnish, and it's got a little crunch, and it lets people know what's in the recipe, which is how I like to handle garnishes. Um, Let me see. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, if you do grate fresh ginger instead of buying a tube, get yourself a microplaner. I'm not about unitaskers. Microplaners are not a unitasker. This is another, you can find them cheap at TJ Maxx sometimes, and avail yourself of this, whether you're grating ginger or parmesan, or you can even do garlic on it, which is preferable to um, a smusher, a press, in my opinion. It's simmering. Do you see it? It's beautiful. But that's a really good way to not have to worry so much about the strings in ginger. Because like if you use a box grater, it's a real mess and it's hard to use the pointy side. They have special ginger graters that are basically a plane with little bumps on it, and it will make you a ginger paste. But again, you've got strings all over the place to deal with, and this kind of makes them manageable. Okay, what am I missing? Nothing. I am so happy with this burner. Can I tell you? I got it very inexpensively. It's Elite Gourmet. Um, I happened to make enough door dashing. I had a little extra money, and we needed something for the household like immediately overnight. And the only way to get overnight was to get over, the $20 or whatever. And I've been wanting a burner to get this stream going for a long time. So I went ahead and got it with the thought, well, I could return it if we really decide we can't afford it right now. Um, and I tested it right away to see, and Rob and I decided I should keep it. But this is the first in actual use, other than like I got uh, frying pans and I tried both sides, made sure both sides worked, make sure I could do something like brown. Basically, I cooked an egg as a test on it. This beautiful spoon is olive wood. I had a couple of these at World Market some years ago, and this needs conditioning. I would do the same as if you watched my cutting board stream. Excuse me, or want to go back to my cutting board stream and see mineral oil, food grade mineral oil, and I'll oil this up soon. I've got like two of these I need to do this with. I don't need these things anymore. It smells good. It smells like I'm doing it right, and that makes me happy. Aha! I was like, I don't have a fork. I can test my carrots like this. If I could grab one. Let me see. I have emergency spooky utensils on hand because it's Halloween. Look, bats. Bats, bats. Um, oh, almost. Given the time, I am going to want to cook the squash to blend the flavors and everything. I'm going to go ahead and add the squash now. And the coconut milk. I'm not using light coconut milk. We're having a budget constraint still in my household, and this was at Aldi, and I picked it up. And I always pick up the light when I see it on sale. Just mush it in there. Oh, the baking of the squash. Okay, so I halved it. Sorry, I'm being disorganized. I'm still new at this particular type of stream. Um, Halved it face down in the pan after seating. I put it in the oven at say 375 for like an hour. I put it on while I was watching the morning stream. Hey, Natalie. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I doxing you? I'm so happy to see you here. If you have any questions about what we're doing, let me know. This is my award-winning butternut coconut soup. I won an award from Home Shopping Network in affiliation with Gourmet Magazine and Wolfgang Puck for this soup years ago. There's something green in here. Oh, it's a little piece of onion. My onion must have been wanting to sprout. Okay, so the squash is in there now. Smells great. I definitely put enough ginger, at least it seems that way so far. So I started by sauteing some carrots and onion with garlic and ginger. Added vegetable broth. Got the carrots to a good start. And added my butternut squash, which I previously baked in the oven and just scooped out for easy peasy. My nose itches. So I'm going to bring that back up to a simmer. And then I'm going to add the coconut milk. When you get coconut milk, always shake it. Because sometimes it'll separate and then the bottom is like a solid. It makes it very difficult to do something actually creamy with it. I love coconut milk. And like I said, this is not my light version today, but I'm not going to be adding butter or anything. I'm also not adding milk. This is, let me think, dairy-free until I garnish, because I think I am going to put some sour cream on it. And I didn't use my cute little things at all today. In the future, if I'm doing a recipe I feel like will take longer, I'll probably do some mise en place using these little cauldrons, but for now, this cauldron will do. Yeah, I don't want to add the coconut milk too early because it'll make it thick enough that you have to kind of constantly stir it or it'll scorch, and you don't want that. Let's put our spider top on and do a small, actually taste, so I can see where our seasoning is. It doesn't need salt. I suspected that. I didn't even get any out. If I were using a low sodium vegetable stock, it might. But these pre-made stocks often have plenty of salt for whatever you're doing with them. All right, I love this pot so much. This was a TJ Maxx find. I've got a bigger one, a blue one, but this is my nifty spooky one. I never got one of the pumpkin ones. They have these cute pumpkin ones every year, and I can never talk myself into it, but I get a lot of use out of this one. I also use this for the last couple years. I don't know if any of you listen to Geek Grills, but my friend Ray from Geek Grills turned me on to this cool recipe with a pumpkin. And it's like a pumpkin stuffed with everything good. Cool, Natalie. And I've kind of made variants of it. It's kind of a basic, stuffing some bread of some kind, and like sausage. I use breakfast sausage, and I put a bunch of sage in it, and cream, and a bunch of cheese, and just like cut out the pumpkin, take out all the seeds and guts, and then stuff it, and then bake the whole thing. And I do it in this cast iron um, Dutch oven, and it comes out so beautifully. It's a little hard to take out of something that deep whole, but I mean, you don't have to. I have managed to get out whole, and then I cut it in wedges, and it is so delicious and satisfying. I'm the only one in my house who will eat it, but that's fine because then I just freeze all the other portions. I end up doing that a lot now that my two kids that are not picky have moved away. Okay, I've got a good boil on this. Again, it is thick enough because of the squash. You do want to now and again make sure that it isn't sticking. And again, that's why we're waiting on the coconut. So you might give this a go. I hope you do. A tour pumpkin. I have not heard of that. I don't know what that is. You can enlighten me, or I'll Google it later. I can still see some hunks of garlic. I do want those to break down a little bit and get their sweetness. So now, what's your regular butternut squash recipe or butternut squash soup recipe? Oh, no. Because, I mean, if I were stuffing a pumpkin with a butternut with a zucchini, like, I guess that would be like turducken, right? Because it's squash and squash and squash. This is more just like you're stuffing a pumpkin instead of stuffing, I mean, another squash, because you can stuff squash, or stuffing a chicken or whatever. Oh, I know the other thing I wanted to share today. Because I was talking on another food stream earlier. Chef John Leung, if you're not following him, it's like Leung. He is a wonderfully entertaining put Asian in your mouth streamer out of Canada. And we were talking about it. Rain checks. Y'all know about rain checks, right? Curried butternut squash soup. Absolutely, Stormy. I was saying that's usually what you see, right, with a butternut squash soup is it curried or like a cumin or sage, like something super savory. I mean, this has the savory elements, but like kind of a more Asian flair because of the ginger and the garlic and the onion. But the coconut milk really does make it a whole nother thing, and I've never seen anyone else use it. About a couple years after I won the prizes from the Wolfgang Puck contest, his recipe started serving a butternut squash soup, or his restaurants, sorry, started serving a butternut squash soup, and I was like panicked, and I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not gonna get mad. I'm gonna check it out, and I went and I did the research to find what theirs was like because I thought he stole my recipe, and I don't remember signing that off. But he didn't. Theirs was a curried one, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Now I think I'm actually going to, because I don't remember. I don't think I even have it written in my directions. And Spark Recipes went out of commission in 2001. Or no, wait, 2021. Sorry, just a few years ago, um, where I had actual published instructions, but I just kind of make it on the fly on the regular. And as I mentioned earlier, before some folks joined, it's good hot or cold, which is amazing. Yes! Hash roasting by turn it seed pocket up and sprinkle cinnamon on it. Oh yeah. See, that would be great too. Like, and that's something, those are flavors you could make if you did a cumin style one. You could totally, or in this, I would worry that adding cinnamon to this one with the ginger would end up tasting like pumpkin pie, um, which might be fine, but I don't know if I want that in soup. Okay, I should probably mute y'all for this, or do we want to see how it goes? I love my immersion blender. Oh, that's not too loud. It's not even going in the red. Um, like I said, you can do it in a blender if you don't have one of these, but for a few things, I love this. Tilt it so stuff can get under, and don't tilt it enough that it sprays everywhere. You have to learn to be careful with them. I think my carrots are arguing with me. See, I'm doing this before the coconut milk. Again, it would be more prone, but see how it's blurping up from the thickness? Yeah, that's a danger as soon as it gets thick. But the coconut milk will make it super thick when you get to this part. So I would definitely blend it before doing the coconut milk. I'm actually going to use a little more stock, keep us safe. This is a small area. And these cast iron plates on the burner don't turn up and down as quickly as I'm used to. I'm used to gas. I love gas. I'm going to give it one more taste to decide how much coconut milk I want to put in. It's got some little chunks, but again, that's fine. You can make it as smooth as you want. Oh, the other versatile thing about this recipe, if you wanted to make it a more balanced meal, you can throw some corn in there and some beans in there, and then you have like a Three Sisters harvest soup. I think I'm only going to use half of this. This is the 13-ounce can. Oh, and the color changes beautifully. That looks the right color to me. And again, if you made the whole recipe, like if I use the whole squash, I would use the whole can of milk and the whole thing of vegetable stock. And let this cook a few minutes. Give all the things a chance to blend together. Live dangerously. Yeah, it's real hot though. But at least it doesn't have quite the sugar. Like you're also adding sugar, which makes the hot more dangerous. Oh, my camera. Does it really look at... I promise you it is not pale. It is a gorgeous orange color. In my OBS monitor, it looks really pale. Okay, now it does need a little salt, in my opinion. So I'm going to grab that quick. And while I take my immersion blender pieces, and then I'll also explain what I was going to say about what we discussed on John Lynch Street. Okay, this is, you don't have to be as fancy with your salt. This salt is, well, it's brownish now, but it was a pink Himalayan that I smoked in my smoker. Which Kim Johnson of Scott Johnson's wife, I think, was making smoked salt and giving it to people, and it was a light bulb for me. Like, why am I not doing that? And I smoked like a giant mason jar full that I keep refilling my shaker with. Um, it's especially good for things like ham soup if your bone wasn't smoky enough. But it does a little something something in a dish like this too. I tend to go so low on salt, which is fine for me. If you like pepper, I would use white pepper in this, just for the aesthetics. But also, white pepper is kind of a great secret ingredient for anything that has Asian flavors. A Chinese friend of mine taught me that some years ago, and it's like I never knew, and it really made a difference, even in something like a stir fry, to go ahead and be using white instead of black pepper. It's not all just how it looks. Spot on. I could even have used less coconut milk. Beautiful. Beautiful. But yeah, easy, flexible, and like I said, you can do two taste a lot. So the thing that came up on John Long's stream, he was like, "Thank you. No one ever talks about that." And we had a wide variety of viewers in his stream, and as suspected, a lot of younger people don't know it exists. And if you know, great, and teach your kids. Um, because yesterday the Food Lion here had a really good sale going on, but sales change over on Wednesday, right? And I didn't get my sale paper last week, so I just happened to go check it online, and they had whole chickens on sale for 99 cents a pound and pork butts on sale for 99 cents a pound. Now, prices have been going up all over the place, but this pork bellies at Food Lion 99 cents a pound sale has been a lot less frequent than it used to be, but they're still doing it once every couple of months at least. And I tend to grab one or two depending on what I can do right away, and I throw them in the freezer because that's what I make sausage with. And I can smoke a whole butt and make pulled pork. Um, and so, yeah. So I was like, okay, Rob, go get me a couple of chickens and at least one pork butt, depending what we have in the budget right now. And he went and they were out of both. Bad planning on their part, but a win for us because rain checks. If you don't know, when you go to a store and they are out of something, and it's something they intend to restock or something like that was on sale, you can go to customer service and ask for a rain check. And these entitle me to go back and get chicken and whole Boston butts at the sale price, at the 99 cents a pound. They can limit quantity sometimes, and they will often date them. They dated this for when it was issued, but they did not put an expiration on them, which is awesome. They put a limit of 2 on the butts, and they didn't put any limit on the chickens. So when I've got it in my budget, I can go grab these really great, easily freezable items. So I'm not sure, no one knew if all stores do them anymore, but it's kind of an old-fashioned thing. Like I learned about it growing up, and a lot of people don't know that you can do this. Um, it's a really great thing when it happens like it did for us because at the end of the week, at the end of the sale week, they've run out, sure. But when it's restocked, it's not going to be all the stuff they cut a week ago knowing they were having a sale. It's going to be the fresh cut, freshly butchered meats as well when I do pick them up. So, yay. If anybody has information, I'm super curious because they might have to um, do this kind of thing. They advertised a sale price. So it might actually be a law. Maybe I'll Google it later that they have to provide a rain check. But it's always worth checking and it's worth, teaching your kids about. So it's even like a little darker on stream. I don't know if I need a new camera. But basically just letting the flavors develop. Mm, I love this soup. I would like more ginger, but that's a me thing. But that's okay. I'm the only one eating it. This is where, you know what? For this, I can use powdered ginger. Just give it a chance to hydrate before you decide you need any more. I would not put the ginger paste or grated ginger in at this point. Um, that risks making it like spicy, and let alone the texture elements that you don't want to deal with. Oh, it smells good in here. The best thing, like most soups, um, this will be even better tomorrow. And depending if your weather changes, like I mentioned before, it's good cold. It's really good cold. So you don't even, you can put it in a thermos hot or cold. What do you most use your immersion blender for? Curious, Stormy, and Hando. I've seen the trick making mayo with it in a mason jar, and I've never actually done that. Um, I've made mayo from scratch plenty. I've used a blender. I've got a great blender method from the Mark Bittman cookbook to make hollandaise. I'll never make that double boiler pain in the butt again that way. I'm going to turn this way down because it's pretty much done, and I'm going to put the cover on. See my cool spooky pan. Unless the ad states limited time or limited amount, you should be eligible for a rate check. I mean, you should, but do they have to? Because somebody was saying their store doesn't do it. And I don't know. Like I said, there should be a law, right? Because if they didn't have to, they would almost always post the sale to get you in the store and then not have it available. It would be, a loss leader situation. Because they do say limited amount sometimes, even on sales, like you can only buy that many at once. I know a lot of people go back and forth and they buy more, but I can't be bothered with all of that. Um, well, depending. In dire straits, I might. I've done that with actually I've done that with turkeys, but for a good cause. When me and folks in my town are trying to make sure the shelter, the same one I provide Halloween costumes to, make sure they have enough turkeys for the holidays or hams. And there's a limit. People will collaborate, like, okay, I'm going shopping, I can get the turkey discount, but I can only get this many, and we'll help out with stuff like that. And that's honest enough, honestly. Fire roasted tomatoes and green chilies in an immersion blender for a Bloody Mary mix. That sounds fantastic. I'm It sounds really good. It's not something I like. I don't know what it is. Fire roasted tomatoes don't do it for me. With all the smoking and everything I do, something with fire roasted tomatoes. Like if I get a salsa and it has fire roasted tomatoes, it's like ruined for me. But I could see in a Bloody Mary, I mean, that's kind of a different application where it wouldn't taste unfresh like I think a salsa does in that application. Soup sauces, garlic mayo. Yes, gotta love an aioli. Rob thought he still will say he hates mayo, but he loves an aioli and he loves noom, the Lebanese garlic sauce that is also basically mayo. I think that one doesn't have eggs. It just has oil and lemon juice and garlic, but still. It but if I make it from scratch, that's something he'll eat. If I take mayo and mix something in it, he generally won't. Um, Like chipotle powder is such a wonderful thing to have in your house. I neglected to um, look at how beautifully thick this is now. Tempted to do immersion blender again, but I'm not going to. I sure hope the color is better on the live stream than it looks on my OBS. Let me tell you. Okay, I'm going to mute for a second while I grab a ladle so I can serve this up. Hooray, giant ass ladle. So, I have cool spooky bowls, but I figured the autumny pretty bowl Dollar Tree find would be really good to serve this soup in. And it's such a nice, creamy, comforting seasonal soup, and it didn't take all day, but my house still smells great. And I think I can't do more than like 2.5 because these bowls are really big. I don't know why ladle put dreidel in my head. That's not accurate. Hooray! I should take pictures, right? I should add. Nightbot is being a little difficult and not doing what I need it to do. If you want to help with the stream, check out my throne, or you can tip. Everything is going to go back into the stream. Hey, Sean, how are you doing? We're doing games tonight. It's another stream. Do you see my beautiful, beautiful soup? Look. This isn't hot, so I'm going to do a picture so that these show together. You can see my cool pot. What? Oh, see, I need better lighting. These are things I need. I don't have lighting on my throne list yet, but I'm also going to garnish this. Even though this doesn't have dairy, so I'm breaking my own rule about having ingredients in it. Sour cream is a really nice garnish. That's what I think the Wolfgang Puck people use for their picture. But that recipe did actually have some milk in it, the original recipe. And look, another spooky spoon. It's a vampire spoon. Yogurt is also a good garnish for this. And I'm not a professional. I never claimed to be. I guess you let it dissolve and you make the swirlies. Look at that. Look at that. Let's pretend I know what I'm doing. Woo. Oh, another picture. This can never do this pot justice. The pot's so pretty. Said every adult ever. What? Said what? I missed myself being funny. apparently. Oh, I've got ads starting in 4 minutes and 36 seconds. If you would stick around, I would appreciate it. It does help um, support the stream. Theoretically, I'll eventually be streaming enough that I make money at this someday. But if nothing else, um, any tips and um, I put gift cards on there for Publix because I will use that to get ingredients. Things on the thrown list are equipment, like if I have an overhead camera holder, I don't have to use this giant tripod and I have more space to work. There's a tripod over there. Um, and yeah, exciting. Well, I guess I'm going to eat with a measuring spoon because all this stuff I laid out and I neglected to grab a spoon. I realized at the end of my last stream. Oh, okay. Yeah, fake it till you make it. That's adulting, Sean. I made potato wedges um, just to show Sean how. And I forgot to taste them before I ended the stream. Like, I know they tasted good. Which reminds me, I'm making venison steak when I'm done with the stream, and I'm going to have to eat more potato wedges with some of the leftover potatoes from that stream for my demonstration about the different kinds of potatoes and what you like to do with them, or what you should not do with them. Should and should not. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Now I have food for a few days because my picky pants son and husband won't eat this delicious soup unless I give it away. That's a lot of that's something else I do is if I make something and I either freeze it in individual portions for myself. If it's sweets and I just shouldn't be eating that much, I give it away. I like to do things like take pie to our local and have a pint and share food. Stormy, if you do make this, let me know how your mom likes it and how you like it. And I get you with the ADHD brain, Sean. I at my age, I'm 57 and realizing how much neurospicy is also in my mix. It's not debilitating, but I went to grab a fork today and like had to have the heavy one. It's like, little bit of it's in there. Yeah, I totally have to add the clip to my Discord too of Chef John coming across the picture of my bacon. That made me very, very happy. I got a clip of it. I think that I started the clip too late, so you don't get him absolutely freezing at first. But 2 out of 3 of the people that are chatting have actually sampled my bacon, I believe. Is everybody going to Nerdtacular? Oh, there we go. Nightbot kicked in. I'm just going to have to stream longer. I don't want those timers to go more often. Add in 15 seconds, by the way. Oh, I got you with the bowl. I like this bowl for my finger snacks. All right, there's an ad running, right? Okay, so I thought about how I wanted to fill in these VODs because in the VODs, Twitch you'd think would cut it out because there's the ones that inserted the ads. Um, and I thought about saving it, but I mean, I've got friends of mine who aren't subbed yet um, in the chat hanging out. And so I let them know rain checks. Look it up. Use the rain checks. Pro tip for today. Um, what else is a good pro tip? Grow butternut squash. It grows really, really well in many, many regions. If you're taking soup to the potluck, hot or cold, make sure you're storing it properly so you don't hurt anybody. I think I'll talk about cookbook giveaway situation when we get back from the ad. Really glad I did this. It was really inexpensive too. I'll ask my friends here about it. Hey, I'm back. Are you back? Because I have questions. Nice to see some of you are going to Nerdtacular. I might be. I'm working on it. I want to. A couple of different things are in the works. We'll see what happens. So, questions I had. Would you be interested in me pricing out and giving, I mean, it would be regional to some extent, but giving an estimate of what the recipe would cost per serving or something when I do these? It just occurred to me because there's some streams I'm planning on doing that are relevant to budgets, like Stormy and I were talking about. Like doing stuff in your pantry, not wasting a typical food pantry box, dinner. And I think that might be worth doing. I think people think it's too expensive to cook, and they're not wrong in a lot of ways, but it is, like most things, more complicated. The amount of money you save, for instance, buying the chicken whole and knowing how to butcher it. I don't feel really good about doing chicken stuff here. I have to think on it because I can't be washing my hands without running into the other room. But I really would like to show people how to do that and at least spatchcocking because you can really get more bang for your buck. Then again, you can get a rotisserie chicken for about the same price as a whole raw chicken these days and do a lot with it. But yeah, I'll think about adding that. And I look for everything on sale, which is relevant. I'm trying to think what this cost me. Olive oil I keep in the house. Carrots are inexpensive. You can get carrots for 79 cents for a bag, and you're only going to use a couple of them. Squash, I think, was about $4, and I only used half of it. The coconut milk was on sale. I think it was $1.69. The stock was on sale for, I don't know if they're changing form factor or what, but it was like 79 cents, I think. So was really inexpensive. I think probably the most expensive per unit ingredient was the ginger in a tube. But then again, you pay $4 or $5 for a tube like this usually, and it lasts for quite a few recipes. So So the other question was, how motivated would you be to subscribe in order to trigger giveaways? A friend of mine gave me, I don't have a final count yet. It's, by the look of it, I think it's going to work out to a couple hundred cookbooks. I've been making a spreadsheet with them. And he's like, sell them, whatever, to support your stream. I just need them out of my house. And I don't have like a built-in budget for any of this, and shipping is going to be costly. So I figure it might be a good double duty to encourage people to subscribe. That, like, if I get 10 subscribers, I'll do a giveaway and give away a book. And do that for like every 10. Or if that stalls out, then switching to something else because the stream has its support and I can set aside some shipping money and create other kinds of goals. I asked another streamer and they said, just give them away. I'm like, well, I mean, I am, but I don't want it to cost me. I can't do that right now. Like, even bits, I could figure out how many bits would trigger a giveaway. But if anybody has suggestions or ideas for that. Hi, my name is Hando. I'm guilty of going to Sam's Club once a week and throwing a $4.98 chicken into a pot with wine and butter and frozen veggies. My name is Hando. You know what? You're not wrong. Why wouldn't you? You just coq au vin on the fly. My son recently, he had a preemie. Well, not recently. He was brought in. My grandson Jackson was brought into this world at the beginning of December, but he was like 11 weeks premature. And food safety wise, I mean, they still are in pretty much full COVID protocol for people visiting and being in the house. But food safety wise, they've got a sanitizer for, all the bottle stuff, and he's got a giant food service stainless steel bowl that he washes all of the baby stuff in, separate from any regular dishes or cooking or anything in the sink. And he doesn't basically allow any raw chicken in his house anymore. He finds it is easy to cross contaminate, and with his son's underdeveloped systems coming into this world, he just switched over to buying rotisserie chickens, and they have a Costco membership, so they get them there, and he does a lot of cooking. He does the most from scratch cooking so far of my kids that I taught. When he went to college, he would buy whole chickens, break them down at the beginning of the week, do whole trays of chicken, and eat that, take it for lunch all week long, because you can do that at the time for like 79 cents a pound on sale. Um, excuse me. Um, and that's how he got by. But he won't bring raw chicken in his house anymore. So he does meal prep using those chickens, he also makes breakfast burritos, and freezes them in mass amounts. A couple visits ago, he and I did that. It was a lot of fun to hang out. He's got a nice big kitchen with an island and stuff, which I envy. My kitchen's terrible. This is my dining room table, is how I'm managing to do a cooking stream at all. Um, I'm borrowing a kitchen next week. My friend Lori has a big, wonderful kitchen in her house, double ovens, like big food service size fridge and freezer, and oh, I love it. And y'all know Greg, TVZ God. He's also from the Frog Pants community that some of the folks in my chat are in. And his daughter is working at the Carolina Renaissance Festival near me for the season. And they contacted me today because she's jonesing. She apparently loves to cook and bake for her friends, and she doesn't have a kitchen. She's living in a tent while she works at the Ren Fair. So we worked it out, and I talked to my friend with the lovely kitchen who I did all the beet pickling with, if anybody saw that story in the food channels. And we're borrowing her kitchen. And I'm going to take Greg's daughter, Mercedes, and help. I don't know if she wants my help, but I'm going to be providing access and taking care of my friend's cats because she's traveling so that we can cook things for her to take to her Rennies. So I'm kind of excited about that. That'll be fun. And I love working in Lori's kitchen. It's so much better than working in my kitchen. Maybe I should ask her if I'm allowed to stream from there, but it would be too much to do all the time. Mm. This is getting better as it cools, and it'll be better tomorrow. And you don't even have to heat it up. So I think I'm going to sign off soon. Mm. Um, Not sure what my next show is. I'm not quite in a financial position to get the ingredients I want to do my first planned recipe development for the Delicious and Dungeon cookbook. Because I need, unless people want to tip it, I need $13 for the langostinos, and there was another ingredient I don't have. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head, but it was another like I think 10 or 15 bucks. And I just can't do that right now for something I'm only going to eat. You're right. Soup is always better day two. I can't think of an vichyssoise or no vichyssoise also. Mm, there's cold soup. Would not be better the next day, I don't think. I don't have a lot of experience with it. And the other thing is, yeah, it's vichyssoise I'm thinking of. That would not be because you want that. It's a seafood soup, and the next day stuff like the mussels would end up chewy, and the ouzo would not do the thing it does when you just drizzle it over the hot soup. But other than that, soup is always better day two. um, so yeah, I don't know when the cookbook recipe development shows with chance of failure. I mean, I guess everything has a chance of failure. I could have failed at this today, right? Um, aren't forthcoming. But what do I have? Let me check my notes. I did have. Oh, the breakfast is probably going to be my next stream. I actually already have the pork belly thawing in the fridge. So sometime in the next few days, it's Wednesday. Maybe Friday. If y'all would like to tune in tonight, Cyrenex and me and Variety Jess and Sandra, I don't remember her stream name. We're going to be streaming playing Wildermyth or Wildermyth, however you say it, again. Um, yeah, Sonia. It's her stream name is the same as her name. I don't know, but yeah, me and Sean and Sonia and Jess are the part-time adventurers doing that tonight. Friday, I think I'll do this breakfast stream where I will make I'll show how to start your own pork belly curing into bacon. And I think the other thing I'm going to do is make basically toad in a hole, but with acorn squash, um, which is something I started doing when I used to do low carb that I still just love to do. I love how Nightbot put that in with no link. But yeah, you can find me on Coffee, ko-fi.com/9 of 12. Everything's 9 of 12. If you want to tip me anyway, you can find me. If you want, whatever you use, you're going to find 9 of 12. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Ko-fi, Throne, however you want to help me, I'll take it. Um, but yeah, I'll probably do that Friday, and then Friday night, me and Sean and the gang are streaming Devour for spooky stuff. I want to talk to you, Sean, if you've got a few minutes after this, to hop in the Discord about applying for Fright Night for that, because it would be really cool. Maybe we get, featured or some junk. So, yeah, other than that, uh, join my Discord. I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something. I'm super excited to hear how Natalie and her mom like my version of butternut soup, my award-winning butternut soup. Some point, I have another award-winning recipe. I'll share at some point. It's just a pasta recipe, and that'll be funny because I'll be able to share an ancient YouTube video that I made of making it with my son when he was a little boy. So anyway, thanks for everything, guys. I'm so happy to see you here, and I look forward to cooking with you soon.